Hey everyone, how you doing? I want to re-engage with you here. I was out of town last week, but now we're back. We're still been reading God's Word the whole time, and I pray that you have been working your way through Matthew. We're going to take a pit stop right here today in Matthew 15, and I want to just share a couple thoughts with you because it is a very active and what seems to be a really scattered bunch of stories. But let's try to tie it together real quick. It starts out the chapter, Matthew 15, with the religious leaders, Pharisees in particular, were complaining about how Jesus and his disciples were acting and what they were doing. And specifically, why aren't you washing your hands before you eat? And think those things are important in the grand, but in the grand scheme of things, spiritually, that is not the most important thing. Is what we're seeing, and Jesus basically comes back at them. You're worried about me washing my hands. You're being very hypocritical because you're holding on to traditions, is what he's basically telling them. And he goes on and he says that. Let me see, in verse 10, Jesus pointed out to the crowds after they knew what the religious leaders were saying. He's like, you got to understand this, guys. And this is a paraphrase, of course, but what comes out, verse 11, what comes out of the mouth isn't what makes you unclean, but what comes out of the mouth reflects the heart. So if what comes out of your mouth is ugliness and filth, then those are the things that tear people down and destroy people with your words. That reflects true dirt, true evil that's in your heart. And so that was one example in Jesus' day here of a problem with people and what comes out of their mouths. But I want to show you what God does respond to when it comes out of our mouth, because then we see right away that there was this lady who said, Lord, help me. I need your help. My daughter is hurting. That's at verse 25. Lord, help me, she said. And Jesus challenged her, and she finally had such great faith in her response to Jesus. He just said, woman, you have great faith. See, he responded to her words, and it was words asking for help. That's what came out of her mouth. So that's what came out of her heart. I need you, Lord. And then there were great crowds, it says in verse 30, that came to him. And it said that they were bringing the lame and the crippled, the blind and the mutes and others that needed help. And it said that Jesus had great compassion on them. And they were amazed as he healed them. And they praised God, and then he fed them. But do you see what was coming out of their mouths, coming out of their hearts? They were asking for help. Jesus provided help. See, what Jesus saw in these people is a picture of all these different kinds of people outside of the Jewish community, in the woman, and these crowds of Jewish people that were being suppressed by their government leaders as well as their religious leaders. And Jesus brought them in as they called for help from their heart, out of their mouths. And God responded. And he ended up feeding thousands of them and healing them. They longed and deserved better. And God gave them what they needed. They'd been oppressed for far too long from these people that had tainted and dirty hearts that were not leading them well. Jesus replaced that with the compassion and love of God. So what's coming out of our mouths today? I hope that what's coming out of my mouth and our mouths is a call for God's help and guidance in the things that we need and want to become clean and holy and good, and to lay the filth behind us and walk with God. He's calling us to that, and a check for each of us is if we stop and listen, what's coming out of our mouth will give us will read the temperature of how we're really doing. So may God help us and fill us with His Spirit that we may follow Him and follow Him well. So God bless you as you read. Go ahead and read all this chapter 15. And I hope you have a great day. God bless you all.